starting quarterback?
Well, we went out with the Blues today. So right now, we're playing a game. He would be starting for us. And Chase, Jalen, all those guys have done a really good job. But today, going into this fan fest, scrimmage, whatever you want to call it, Hank went out there with the Blues, did a good job. And we got this next week to continue to keep preparing. But I like where he's at. He's done well. He's prepared himself. Chase has had a really good camp as well. And Chase has done a great job of helping some of those younger quarterbacks develop. But right now, that's what we did today, and we're going to next week like that and get ready to roll.
So have you made the decision that he will start against Florida State?
We made the decision today he's going to come out here first and play for us. So, like I said, today was kind of our mock game situation. If we were going to be in one, we obviously didn't play that way because of how the practice was set up, but that's where we're at right now.
Where's he taken his biggest strides from last spring when he finished it out?
Spring, you didn't really know anything, so I think just knowing things. He's talented, he can throw, and I think he's got a good demeanor. I think he handles himself well. He's coachable, just the knowledge, and still there's a lot of little things that are not quite there, really for the whole group. And again, you comparing to a senior that played 4 years and kind of where you need to be, so you got to understand a little bit of looking at the clock every play, how we break the huddle, and some things like that, which over time and more reps, those guys will get better at. But I do think the number one thing for him is coachable. He'll make corrections and after mistake, and to me, that's what you want from any player. You want guys that are coachable and will correct it, and then go make new mistakes, and you can correct those, and then keep moving on that process.
What is it about him that would give you, confidence to, start him off right away against a team like Florida State?
Well, I watched him practice. I watched him take all these reps, and I feel like he's put himself in a position consistently through the practices that we've seen him to go out there and right now be the best guy. And that's all we can do. I don't know. Florida State, I know that they're a good football team, but I haven't watched them through practice. I can just tell you what we've done and where we're at and where he's developed from spring to where he is right now. I think he's made some really good strides, and certainly he'd be the first one to tell you that that has to continue. It's not like, right now this is where we are, and you guys know how those things can change. You're talking about a 4-year guy, it's a little bit different, right? 4-year guy, you're kind of established, you know what you're going to be doing. And so it's still, you got to be competitive, you got to prepare, you got to come out and make plays, you got to perform in practice, because that's all we can judge him off of is what he does in practice, to think, this is what could happen in the game, and certainly know it's not going to be perfect. So how is he going to be able to overcome that? So like today, it wasn't perfect today. It's like he came out here and he was 14 for 14, right? It wasn't a perfect day, and he came back, he made some plays, which is exactly how the game's going to go, and how does he handle it, what's his demeanor, and I think that, to me, the maturity level is getting better.
You said all along you expected to name a clear starter, 10 days or so in advance. Yeah. What's holding you back from flat out saying he's your starting quarterback right now?
I feel like right now, right now he is. Okay. And I would say a little bit, how Chase Cord has continued to develop. I've told you guys about Chase and how I feel about him. He continues to keep getting better. I think Jalen Henderson continues to keep getting better. Those two guys, and I know how each day, how much can change in a day, especially at that position. So Hank deservedly is the quarterback right now, and he knows that, and I think that room respects that, and I also think that room is going to continue to compete, bottom line. So, and that's what I told those guys, and that's what I told our team, the same, no doubt about it. Because we do have competition, and we're talking about the quarterback position, but we're talking also about the running back position. We're talking about the corner position. We're talking about the linebacker position. And I haven't told anybody on our team necessarily, besides some of those captains and some of those guys that have been playing, like this is a for sure deal. This is where we are right now, all right? So this is your opportunity. Take advantage of it. And also you other guys, hey, you got to keep pushing. You got to keep competing. Because I don't want anybody shutting it down, because I don't know what's going to happen play one when we roll out there and how things can change in one game. So right now, this early in the season, you've got to keep everybody on track to be ready to go out there and start and play. But no doubt about it, Hank has earned that opportunity, and that's why he came out there today. And I talked to him a couple days ago just about where I wanted to go with this. He understood. I've talked with the other quarterbacks. They understand. But at the same time, I don't want any of them satisfied with being in that position. So that's got to continue as far as just that competitive nature.
Mathematically, does Chase have a chance to win the starting job this week, or is it Florida State for Hank?
No, we'll go into Florida State with Hank. Yeah, and I mean Chase will be there. How we put the game plan together that way. I'm not ruling Chase. I'm not ruling anybody out at this point. And Chase is continually, like I said, he's improving. He's getting better. I mean, the guy's coming off an ACL, and it takes time. And we all understand that. But as far as Chase as a leader, his command, he's done as well as any one of our quarterbacks at that age has done. But Hank, I feel really good about Hank, and I like what Hank continues to keep doing too. So it's not like Hank's not progressing, and Hank's doing all those things. And you know, he's been here in the spring and he's been here in the summer, and I will tell you that has really made a huge difference going into making this decision right now of where we are.
You said he talked with Hank. What was his reaction to maybe the conversation of coming out here, being able to be the first one out and all that stuff? I mean, he's an 18-year-old kid, obviously. You have to be excited. What was his reaction?
19. He's a 19-year-old
Or is he
kid.
20
now?
Is he 20 now?
He might be. You guys probably know more than I do. Yeah,
I think he's 20.
He might be 20.
Okay.
Yeah, he's still a kid to us, right? Yeah. I think it's kind of been going that way in practice. A lot of times, guys, we make these official announcements or whatever that might be. They see it. And so this is how we've been repping it. This is how we've been practicing. And it's really more about just official. And it wasn't about like, hey, you're going to roll out there. It was like, hey, I'm ready to roll out there. It was more of, now here's where we are. And this is what, going into this next week when you have school and you have preparation for the game and adding that another element in there of class, how is he going to do it? And making sure that he can still continue to keep getting better each and every day with more on his plate moving forward. And then truly, it's all good until you got a deadline, right? And that's the one thing about all these quarterbacks. And we got a deadline coming up. It's 8/31/19. We got to go out there and play, and we'll see how this week goes as you know you're getting closer to going out there and actually playing the game. But all those guys, from what I've seen, and Coach Hill has done a tremendous job, they've handled it really well.
Have you gotten a commitment at all from Chase that he's here for the long haul? I mean, I know you look around the country, there's guys transferring today that didn't win starting jobs. Did you talk to him about that at all?
I didn't talk to him about that specifically. What I think about Chase, I think Chase is a high character kid. I think that he's a competitive kid. I think he's got that in him. And, you know, you're right. I mean, recruiting's changed. You know, a lot of it now is certain positions like tryouts. You recruit a guy and then come in here and try out in fall camp, and then if you're in the position that you want to be in, you stay. You know, I don't know any guy that I've ever had that's been a starter or is out there having success that's ever left, right? If you're not having success, you're not the guy or somebody else is in front of you, then we'll see. You know, now it's not that fun. Now I'm not that happy. Now it's time to go try something different and then get back into being recruited. Recruiting's fun. Actually coming out here and having to do the work, that's hard. You got to love the game. You got to love it. You got to know what you're getting into. And the nice thing about that, being a former walk-on, I tell you this, if you're a walk-on, you know what? Just hang in there. Just hang in there because the scholarship's coming. You just got to keep banging away, keep your head down, keep grinding, because somebody's going to pick up and go because they're not happy, and boom, just like we did today. Daniel Cantrell's on scholarship, Eric Sachs is on scholarship. So as a former walk-on, I tell those walk-on guys, hang in there because it's just a matter of time, because that's just how things are gone, and it's everywhere. So to me, you know, you come in to compete, right? You know it. If it was that easy, if you were the best player, you know, coming out of high school and all that, boy, you got to be really, really special, and you got to have done some really special things, and you got to have spent some time in there grinding away to get yourself in that position. So I think our guys, you know, I think all of our guys, they always tell you, we're good. It's all good. I love it. I love the coaches. I love being here. And then boom, all of a sudden, you know, there's that change of heart and you're having that conversation. And so, you know, at this point, I believe in our guys. I believe in the guys that are surrounding them now with our captains. And, you know, if somebody thinks there's a better opportunity for them, then someone else will step up. And sometimes, I know in my career, just be the next best guy, right? Just be the next best one. And if guys don't want to stick it through, then just be that next guy and get your opportunity and take advantage of it.
Is that something that's, I mean, there's 3 true freshmen you've lost during fall camp. You're talking about some of that. Has that been a shocker to you? That's not very common.
To be honest with you, I don't know if I'm shocked. And I see it going on in a lot of different places. I just think, you know what, we have good players. There's good players. There's competition. And you're going to have to compete. You're going to have to work for it. There's no other way around it. I mean, you got 5 guys, they're all trying to get the same thing. And they're all fighting, and they're not getting attention at one practice because another guy's getting it, or now they're getting all of it. You've got to be able to just push through that. I mean, what is football any different than life? When you go into a job, I mean, how many guys are walking into a job now and it's like, all right, I'm here, what are you going to get from me? Like, that's not how it works. And you guys all know that. You've got interns, you got people that come into work for you, and it's like, where's all the gear? What am I getting right now? When can I take your job? You got to earn that. Yeah. And so, to me, it doesn't surprise me. People have to earn everything. And that has never changed. That's been around a long time. So, if that's not what you want to do, or that's not where you want to do it at, that's okay. There'll be somebody else. It gives other guys, like I said, opportunities. And I'm really excited about the guys we got. I worry about the ones we have. I think about Eric Sachs, who's been out here, and he's going to go kick field goals for us. And then Daniel Cantrell, who's starting on both, short and long. I mean, to me, that's really what you're looking for. And when we say hard work does not go unnoticed, we mean it. And today we'll get a chance to reward some of those guys. But yeah, I think it's a trend. And like I said, I think recruiting's fun. It's fun to be recruited. It's fun to be having everybody talking about you and all that. All right, nobody's talking about you at 6 in the morning when you're in the ice tub and trying to get ready for that practice and doing all that work. But you know what? That's where it's all done. It's done in those times where you develop yourself. And sometimes instant gratification, that's not how it always goes. Right? You can't just shut the game off because you didn't start off right to get the perfect score. You can't hit reset. You got to keep battling. And guys like Garrett Collingham's a great example of that, moving from position to position, earning the scholarship, and working himself into where he is right now, right? I mean, I think any one of you would take a guy like Garrett Collingham, anybody in the state of Idaho or in the country would take a guy like Garrett Collingham to be in their organization. Hands down, because you know what you're going to get, whatever you ask, for as long as it takes. And it'll be better than what you asked for. He'll find ways to do that. It's guys like that. So I don't think, and I'm not just speaking for us, I'm talking about everywhere, because I've been on that transfer committee.
You're on the committee, right?
Yeah, I mean, somewhat. Yeah, my opinion meant nothing because it was already planned on what we were doing. So, but that's okay. Hey, it doesn't matter. Transferring's not new. It's not even about the portal. Everyone's like this new portals. People leave all the time places, right? And that's not ever going to change. And then guys stay. They stick it out. And all of a sudden, you know what? An opportunity comes up and they're there. People appreciate that.
Two more. Work with his teammates. I mean, just being a guy that hasn't been here that long. Obviously,
how's he work with them?
Well, I mean, obviously having an impact in having their respect and everything is a big deal, and he's been able to develop that in a short amount of time. And then, is there an update on who the lead horse is in the running back room too?
Right. Well, good way. Yeah, the stable. Nice job. Yeah, into that one right there. Hank's done a good job of building that relationship. Now, I would say this too. Hank's focused on what he's trying to do. So, a guy like Garrett Larson, John Molchon, that O-line, Eric Cabedo, they've helped mold that relationship. Those older players that are more mature, they've gone out of their way to start building this relationship because Hank's walking out of there with 85 things in his mind before practice, and these guys have been through. So, I think the older players have done a good job. I think Hank has done a really good job of connecting with players. He's easy to get along with. Like I said, he's coachable, so he's likable, right? And he's really good to his teammates. That's the one thing. The running back, Rob Mahone right now, Van Buren, those two guys, they've stepped up. I've told you guys about George. George will have a role. George will play for us. But those three guys have kind of just started to separate themselves. And I think a lot of it with George coming in here, I think George is a good player. George has pushed that. It's raised Rob. Rob's raised Van Buren. Van Buren's in the best shape of his life. He's out there practicing hard. So right now, I mean, we got three guys that we can roll into the game with and feel good about, because they've all done things through camp that's been spectacular, and they've all done things that each one of them have pushed, like, hey, you keep doing that, I'm going to be right there. You know, if you're the guy taking the first reps today, then they're competing in a good way, and it's been good to see.
In the end, what made the difference between Chase and Hank, and did the injury to Chase have an impact in the end on how this played out?
Well, I think the injury has an impact. I don't know to answer that was the reason, but for Chase, that's been part of it. You know, Chase has done everything that he's been asked to do, so that's not the reason. But for Chase, he's still getting better. And it was good to see him kind of run around today and cut loose, a little bit more energy than just being at a practice. You got some fans out there watching. No, I think when it's all said and done, Hank put himself in this position. Hank earned it. It wasn't given to him. It wasn't because of. He earned it. He made throws. He completed passes. He did things in the pocket, and he made decisions out there that we want to see. And whether, you know, freshman, senior, doesn't matter. Those are the things that we were looking for at that position.
All right, guys, we got Monday presser at 1, so we'll get more.